All right, the recording has started, so I'm going to start right now. Yesterday, as you know, 2 out of the 3 of you had trouble getting on or couldn't get on, period. I'm asking this question now. I don't think John's on yet, but we were talking electronically before. But Clayton, I sent you an email, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but what I was asking was, what I put on there, the error that John was getting, it said, where is it? Of course, I've got it. I closed the file with it in there, so hold on a sec.
Oh, yeah, that's my bad, Mr. Scott. I just now seen it. But yeah, that's the same error I was having.
Okay. All right. But am I right in assuming that you can type in MongoD or MongoD and it gets the start screen? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Then why don't you try this? I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But go ahead and bring up the MongoD screen and then just minimize that and then bring that up in a git bash here and then bring up another git bash here and then just tell me when you're there.
All right, so I've made the first git bash window with MongoD, and in the second one, what should I put it in?
Just try putting this in. Type in Mongo sh. Do not hit enter. So type in Mongo sh and then tell me when you've got that.
All right, I got that.
Then hit the space bar once and type in this -no RC and hit enter and see if you get the same error or if it comes up.
It came up. It doesn't say there's any errors.
Does it show you? Try typing in show space DBs.
That says DB is not a valid argument. Valid argument.
Well, it's DBS, show space DBS, and hit enter.
So in the test line or hit
no,
Control-C?
not in the one that's running MongoD, but the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, because it came up now like with a test at the bottom of the Mongo sh. Slash or dash norc.
So when you put that in, you got a prompt back.
Yeah,
correct.
And it says, yeah, it came up and then it says test at the bottom.
All right. Did you try typing in SHOW space DBS?
Yeah, but do you mean to put it into a git bash, like in the line or on the test line?
I want you to put it right on the test line.
Okay.
When you do that, does it show you like, does it show you anything?
Oh, yes. I just had to redo the whole git bash because I kind of screwed it up. But no, I did the Mongo sh, and then on the test line, I did show DBS, and it shows admin, config, and local.
Okay. So the good news is you are in. The bad news is for all of us. Okay. What happened when you put that -no RC in is basically it said to override and don't even use that file. All right. Now, does that matter? I'm not sure if it's going to matter with you or not, but I just want us to get some stuff done today. All right. And I want to make sure, I don't know if John, are you on? Is he waiting? Doesn't say that he's trying to get in or anything. Nope. Okay. Because like I said, John was communicating with me before class and we were talking about that error by putting in the minus no RC, you're telling it, as it says, not to worry about that file. Now, what is that file? Well, mine is empty, and Michael, I don't know if yours is empty or not, but I went out and started to investigate it, and the only copy of it I could find was actually 7 years old, and literally this file is 1,668 lines long, and it looks like a big configuration file. The problem is, when I'm looking at this, I have no idea the stuff that's in here. I have absolutely no idea how up to date it is. So I've copied that file, and I'm going to make a copy of it available to you, but I don't think we should use it yet. I don't want to see it where it really screws things up. Now, so I kept looking, and I was following all sorts of threads online, and one of them said, this guy says, where is it? Unable to find Mongo RC, and it doesn't matter if it's the SH one or not. All right, that's just a name change when we put the SH in there. And a guy said, hey, these are hidden files, okay, etc. But then he says, if there is no file, you can create it on the home folder and start using it with that name in the home folder. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But to my knowledge, and I'm going to check this real quick, don't worry that you can't see what I'm doing. I'm about to tell you what I'm doing in just a second here. So I'm going to come out to, let's see. And I'm looking at the details in my copy of the file. So I'm looking here. Where are you? Yeah, see, I've been using it now for quite a while, and it literally says that it was created 10/18/2021, but it says that, when I open it up, it's totally empty. So I'm going to keep doing investigatory work on this. But that said, my hope is at least now we can come in here and start doing some stuff. All right. And again, I don't think John's on right now. I hope that I want to be able to tell him the same thing. All right. But I'll tell you what, Clayton, if you would please, let's just try a couple things and just see or verify whether or not they actually work. So if you would please, let's see. I'm going to very quickly here, I'm going to change my share and have you type in a few things so we can see if this is going to work for you. I would think that now that you're on, it's going to work, but I don't know for sure. All right, so. All right, you should see my blank notepad screen up here right now. Now, you already did this and you said it did show you something. That's good. You don't even have that like that. All right. If you type in right now, you just try this so we can do something. So type in here, use Acme and hit enter. And it should change your prompt then to Acme.
Yep.
Okay. Then let's see if we can, we'll try this. db dot create collection, I don't know, test. So try putting that in and hit enter. The second C is capitalized.
Yeah,
Now
it came back with a OK1.
Okay, good. When we did this yesterday, you don't have to type this in. Yesterday, we just said db dot test dot insert one, and we put in a record like, something like name Clayton, something like that. That's the kind of thing that we did yesterday. And in fact, we need to put in curly here and a curly here. But What this does is if you don't have a collection name test, it creates one. All right. So now type in show collections and it should show test when you hit enter. I'm sorry, not test. Yeah, it should show test.
Yep.
Okay. So are you able to go in and do a db dot test dot insert one? Oops. Just something real simple like that. And again, you shouldn't get any error messages when you put that in.
Yeah, it just came back with my inserted object ID.
Then when you type in this db.test.find, it should, and hit enter, it should show all, basically an object ID, which is a real long string of numbers, and then your name.
Yep.
Okay, so it does appear that by putting in that minus no RC option, you can at least follow along, and that's good. All right. So, I mean, that's a kludge. It's not exactly what I wanted to have us do, but it's, believe me, it's much better than nothing. All right. So, okay. I had evidently yesterday, and I have not done this before, believe it or not, in 7 years, but evidently yesterday when I created the video and saved it, rather than making it public like I always do, I must have made it private, because I got an email from James yesterday saying, hey, I think you accidentally made this private. And I checked, and sure enough, it was private. So I went out to YouTube and they said, oh, just do this, this, and this. Well, that's not the way my screen looked. So I did get it to public. The reason I'm telling you that is what I want to have happen is I want to be sure that everybody is able to get in here and do something. So in other words, I'm going back up to the top here. So you guys don't have to do this. Michael, you can already do it. Clayton, now you can, but I'm going to put here, if you cannot get into the Mongo Db Shell, please do the following. All right. In fact, I'm not even going to. All right. So number one, open up a Git Bash here window. Under the desktop. In this window, enter Mongo D, which not Mongod, but Mongo D, and then hit the enter key. All right. That should start up the Mongo server. We're just going to call it that. All right. 2, next, open up a new Git Bash here window. Under your desktop. I shouldn't even say a new one. I'm going to say another, because I want that one with Mongo D to stay open. So another one under your desktop. In this window, enter. Now, again, I'm doing this. I'm right now communicating to people, and I have no idea whether when they went through the install process, if it worked correctly or it didn't work correctly. All right. So try doing this first. Try to just enter Mongo SH. And again, hit enter. If you get an error message regarding whatever the name of that goofy file was, so let me grab that. Oh, okay. John can't get into Teams. Says, sorry, we've ran into an issue. All right. I'm going to send him the link again. So sorry about this, but I want to make sure he can get on. So let's see. That's the link from today. So let's give him a second and see if he can get on. Am I right in assuming with you guys that either you just got into Teams how you normally do, or you clicked the link that I gave you? Is that a correct assumption?
Yep, I just clicked the link in the email you sent out.
Okay. All right. So, because he is telling me that right now that he's trying to get in, but he said for some reason I can't get into Teams. I get an error saying, sorry, we've ran into an issue. There's a button to try again. When I click that, it tells me again, sorry, we ran into an issue.
Anytime that I've had an issue with getting in through the link, I can like go into the Teams app on my desktop and go into the calendar, and through there you can just click
That's how I
join on
get
the
in all
meeting.
the time.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
generally
how I
I
get in
do
every
it.
day. And that's where I take the link that I send you for, you guys.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a good thought though. So I'm going to tell him that. So right now. So he's sending me the error that he's getting, but I do understand what it is. Yeah, it just says, we're sorry, we've run into an issue. I don't know, Michael, or Clayton, if either one of you have ever gotten that error. It's a little picture of a cartoonish character. I've not seen that one before.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that. Yeah, I don't know if he's tried maybe just restarting the app or something. I don't know.
Well, if this doesn't work, if he still says he's got an error, I'm just going to tell him to reboot and then go in through Teams and the calendar. So. Oh, that might be him. All right, you're in, John, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, we've gotten Clayton in, and we're going to try to get you in right now. When I say in, I mean into Mongo. All right. So what I would like you to do, and don't worry about this stuff, I'll go over it in a moment. But what I'd like you to do is to please, under your desktop, open up a brand new Git Bash here window and do your mongod. I think you could get into that. So type in mongod and hit enter. That should start up the Mongo server on your machine locally, and then minimize that. Let me know when you've gotten to that point, please. Have you done that?
Yeah, I'm working on it, Mr. Scott.
Okay. Well, like I said, let me know when that's up and running.
All right, yeah, it worked. I got it. I got that done.
Okay. So minimize that particular Git Bash here window and open up another one.
Okay.
On that one, type in Mongo SH, do not hit enter. Type in Mongo SH and hit the space bar one time.
Okay.
Now type in minus or two hyphens, no RC, all lowercase, no RC, and hit enter. And tell me if you get a prompt back or if you get an error message.
No, I get a prompt.
Good. All right, then try doing the stuff we've got here. So type in show DBs and
Wait,
hit
can I do
enter.
this in like the same get back?
Yes, right where it says test or whatever it currently says. Right from that prompt.
Okay, I did that.
Did it come back and say that you had like a thing called admin?
Yeah,
And
admin, config,
good.
local.
Okay, good. Then type in this. Just type in use Acme.
All right, I did that.
Now just type in DB and hit enter. And it should come back. It should just show you Acme.
Yes.
All right, then try typing in this. That's the equivalent of creating a table under your database. And the second C there is capitalized.
Yeah, I came back with OK1.
All right. Then type in show collections and it should show test.
It did.
All right. Then go ahead and type in this and see if you can put in a record with your name in it. And again, if it comes back and it says that it was successful, then if you run this right there and you hit enter, it should show the one record. It'll have an object ID field in it, which is a real long numerical string that gets put in by the system, and then name John. Make sure you put it in parentheses, and inside of the parens, make sure you use curly braces.
Okay, so after I type in the db.test.find, do I put something in the curly brace or like not in the curly brace, the parentheses?
Right here, no.
Okay, yeah, it came back as my
Okay.
the ID and name.
So for you and for Clayton, for now at least, all right, when you start this up, you're going to have to do your Mongo D, but then you're going to have to do your Mongo sh space minus minus no RC. What that is doing, and this is what we were talking about before you came, that file that it's telling you that you can't find or you don't have or whatever, that is supposedly a file with it's some kind of a configuration file. All right. Mine is empty, which says to me that when I did this, somehow I'm missing something in the install process. Again, I've sent another email out to the MongoDB support staff, hoping, telling them I'm a teacher and saying, hey, we want to do this, but we're having problems. Can you help? And I'm waiting for them to get back. But now, for everybody, when you first start, all right, everybody, you'll want to open up your Git Bash window and you'll want to do mongod, which again starts up basically the equivalent of a local instance of a MongoDB server. All right. Now, so I'm just going to change this to when you start MongoDB, do the following. So everybody has, to my knowledge, has been able to do this. Now, the reason I'm taking some time to do this, believe me, I'm not trying to waste my time or your time, but there's 6 of you in the class, 3 of you have now gotten in. What I need to hear from is Mason and Nicholas and James. After you've done the install, I need to hear from you that you can get in. And if you cannot get in, you're going to have to make a screenshot of whatever error you're getting so we can try to debug that and figure out what it is. So everybody should be able to do this after the install. Then again, you open up another Git Bash here window. All right. And as it says, if you then, when you open up that that Git Bash window, all right, so when you do that, if what you get is that error with the Mongo shrc, all right, oops, so if you get an error regarding Mongo, either Mongo rc.js or Mongo shrc.js. If you get an error regarding either one of those, all right, then rerun the Mongo sh command from above like this. Mongo sh minus no RC, which again tells it to bypass looking for that configuration file. So if when you do this, you get a prompt that comes up, you do not have to do this. You only have to do what's in blue there if after you type in Mongo sh and you hit enter, you get an error message, as it says there, regarding Mongo rc.js or Mongo shrc.js. So if you get that error, then rerun the command, but don't just put in Mongo sh, put in Mongo sh minus no rc. And until we can figure this out, if you had to do that today to get started, then you're going to have to do that from now on until we can figure this out. If it comes back and it comes back with a prompt, then you should be able to type in, for example, these commands. This show DBS should show all the DBs on your system. That should come back with like an admin and maybe a test. I don't know, but at least an admin, and there'll be a couple of them. Config, maybe, I don't know. And then from your prompt, if you type in use Acme, that should create a brand new database called Acme. If you type in DB, and probably your prompt will change too, but if you just type in DB and you hit enter, it should show the DB, the database you're currently in, which should say Acme. So this allows you, this shows you all of your existing databases. This allows you to create a new database. This shows you what your currently active database is. This will allow you to create a new collection. And remember, a collection is pretty much synonymous. A collection is pretty much synonymous with a table. So that'll create a new table called test under Acme. All right. Now, if you go in, if you just create this database right here, use Acme, and you type in show collections, it's going to be empty because you don't have any tables in there yet. So after you do this and you type in show collections again, it should come back and just show you test. All right. So you now have a collection in there. Then we wanted to do this, and you could put any name you want in here. You know, you can put your name in there, whatever your name is. But that should allow you to insert a new record into the test collection, all right, with your name in it. All right. And just very quickly then, just a couple things. All right. If something doesn't work in this entire process, take a screenshot of your error. What do I mean? Hit the print screen key, go into Paint and paste in the error. Send it to me as soon as you possibly can. So when you're working on this stuff, if something just appears wrong, then let me know, please. Now, when you type in, the other thing is when you type in this command, it will say name followed by whatever you put in there, but it'll also have a thing called an object ID. It creates an ID field for you. Now, if for some reason you don't want to use that, it is legal, so to speak, for you to come in and do something like this. Just so you see this. You can come in and basically key in this and put in here underscore ID, ID, like :1, comma. That will create an ID of 1. When you create a new record, it won't make it 2. But if you want to manually put IDs in, the advantage of doing that is you've got an ID that's 1 character. Whereas if you do it the way that we did it here, the ID that gets put in is about 10 numbers, if not more. All right. This is not the recommended way of doing it. This is not the recommended way of doing it. All right. So you say, well, then why'd you tell us that? Because some people still do. All right. Even though that's not the recommended way. All right. So what I want to do quickly is change my share here. All right. Hopefully what you see on the screen right now is this is what I've been working on today. What I did, so there's a bunch of records in here. There's actually, I think, 27 of them. All right. So why am I telling you this? I went back, if you remember, one of the things that we worked on when we first got into talking about MySQL, that probably was back in the days of the AWD1111 class. All right, the C# programming class. But I gave you a database, a MySQL database that had about 7 tables in it. There was a customers table, an employees table, a products table, a product orders table, or an orders table, etc. All right. Well, what I did was I went to the customers table and rewrote it as, all right, I rewrote it as a MongoDB database. I've got this for you. I'm going to give it to each and every one of you. All right. But if you look in here, I did not provide any of these IDs. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. If I counted right, that's 24 characters that are in there for that object ID. Most of them are numbers, but some of them are letters. I believe that number is, I could be wrong here. All right. But I think that it is a, what is the word I'm looking for? It's a base 16 number. All right. Again, I could be wrong, but this is all that information that was in there. So I dug through it today and converted it over from what it was to this. All right. Why did I do that? Well, I will tell you. I got to change my screen or my screen share again. Yesterday, what we did, and John, hopefully you and Clayton were at least watching, but you couldn't really participate, is we went in there, and what I mean is what we did was we went through all the CRUD operations. All right. So we inserted some data for the create. We read some data with the find. Now you two have both already just done that. All right. But we also did some updating and we also did some deletes. All right. Just so you got some experience at least seeing that. So what I did was I wrote about 20 or so queries that I'd like you to try based on what I'm going to send you in just a second. And that is this customers table. So you can try writing some of these. Now, that said, look on the screen here. It says MongoDB practice exercise number 1, not turned in. We'll go over it tomorrow. So I'm going to give you some time to work on it. All right. Now, with that said, let me change my share one more time here. And again, what I'm going off of here, I'm going to send you in just a moment. All right. I was going through and trying to write up what I considered to be a halfway decent beginning type of thing for you to work on. And it's what I've got. It's the thing with 20 problems on it. All right. But then I started looking online for something that was better. And The best one I found was this right here. And again, you will get the URL for this. Don't worry about it. And this, it's pretty long, but this guy goes through all the major stuff that's in here. All the major stuff when you're talking about working from the shell in MongoDB. Now, he says, welcome to the Mongo workbook. And he gives you, there's a lot of good information here too. Why you should use Mongo, why you might not like to use Mongo, etc. Okay. Now, I want you to take some time today. I'm going to give you time in class to run through this thing. But when you do, don't do this exercise that says connecting to the terminal. Don't do that. We're connecting in our own way. I sure as hell don't want any of you to try this and have it lock it up. So you say, yeah, Mr. Scott, it used to work, but it doesn't work now. So don't do this one. All right. But start up right here where it says exercise, connect the console. You're already going to be in the console. All right. And one thing they mentioned there is when you are in the Mongo shell, you're in JavaScript. All right. You are in JavaScript. So you can type in JavaScript-like commands. All right. In fact, if you go through what this guy has in here, he'll even go through some loops and stuff. Now, I've gone through this, and some of the stuff is a little hokey. He tells you to make a pet shop database. Then he immediately tells you to drop it. All right. Now, some of the ways that he tells you to do commands may not jive exactly with the way that they're shown in the MongoDB thing itself. All right. You should always be using in here. And again, I've got these URLs for you. Okay. But this is right from the MongoDB documentation. It's the getting started tutorial. And they show you how to query documents. They show you how to do updates. They show you how to do deletes. All right. So the only reason I'm telling you this is in the last 2 days, I've watched 4 or 5 different presentations that are basically the same thing on how to get started with MongoDB. But almost to a person, everyone who has done theirs, syntactically, the stuff they've done is a little bit different. All right. This is the gold standard right here. So in other words, if you want to do updates, I click the update link. This tells you how you're supposed to do it. All right. If you want to do deletes, all right, there's the delete link and it tells you how to do it. All right. It's db dot the name of your collection dot delete many or dot delete one. When you do updates, it's db.collectionname.update many or update one. When you're doing inserts, it's db.collectionname.insert one or insert many. When you are reading, it's db.collection.find, or you can say find, find, there is no find many, but find will show you everything, and there's a find one. All right. So what I'm telling you is if you get a little stuck, you can always go back into here, which is just the Mongo documentation under the Getting Started guide. Now, a couple more things here. First, in fact, let me grab this. I think I've got that on the email I was going to send you, but I want to be sure. Next, and some of this, again, if we've talked about it already, I'm sorry. If you want to know more about these IDs, all right, the object ID, which is, for lack of better words, it's your primary key. All right. So if you want to know more about that, again, this is in the documentations and it's in the reference part of the manual. All right. But this is stuff that at least, hopefully, is going to make sense to you. All right. Next, we talked about this before, and this is JSON and BSON. All right. JSON is JavaScript object notation. BSON is binary JavaScript object notation. This is not very long. It's the equivalent if you print it out of 2 or 3 pages, but they give you a breakdown of the difference. The key difference is right here, right there. This stuff that you see under data support. JSON only has 4 or 5 or 6 data types: string, Boolean, number, array, object, and null. But if you look over here on BSON, they have more types. And the key ones that are in there, or the key one probably that's in there, is array. All right? And I know you can do arrays with JSON too. You basically do it the same way. All right? But I want you to at least hopefully be able to start understanding the stuff that's in there. I'm also going to put this in about this configuration file. All right. So you're going to be getting all these URLs. If they can help you in any way, great. If you think, no, it's a waste of my time, hey, if you get rid of it, I don't know, you're getting rid of it anyway. All right. But I spent a lot of time going through that, looking up stuff, going in here. So this is that minus no RC. So if you want to know more about that, I'll give you that link as well. So again, you're going to get your, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 links today. All right. And I'm also going to give you the gist, and that gist has where the Mongo rc.js file is. And again, 1,668 lines. We're not using any of those. That might be the reason why. I don't know if you guys have tried it, but I think, Michael, you said you did yesterday. But when we try to come in and do a clear screen with CLS, it doesn't work. All right. And it might be that there's something in this configuration file that we don't have now that's keeping it from working. I honestly don't know. All right. But again, I would like you, and I'm going to send you this thing right now, but I would like you starting right now, because I'm going to be done talking in 5 minutes. I'm not trying to waste your time. What I'm trying to do is to bring everybody up to the same level. And those of you who were not able to get on yesterday, now you are on, and you will be able to go through this. This thing is much better written than the hour I spent writing exercises, but you're going to get all of it. All right. Now, tomorrow, what I am going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to use MongoDB. This is the plan, at least. I haven't written it yet, but I have seen no reason why it shouldn't work. We're going to take from those databases that we used earlier. All right. And again, you've already got the customers one. I'm going to take the products one. All right. If you remember, there was a products table in there, and I'm going to convert that. I'm going to convert that products table into a products collection. All right. There's about 40 products in there. Now, one thing that won't be in there is the category ID, because I want to keep this as simplistic as possible. But I'm hopefully going to be able to do that this afternoon. And then I will send that to you. And tomorrow, what I want us to do, we already created a REST API. So we created a REST API. Then we took that REST API and we made it work with a MySQL or a MySQL database, in particular, that books database. All right. What we are going to try to do tomorrow is to use that products MongoDB file, and we're going to attempt to write another REST API. So we're going to connect this directly to our Node. We're going to make a new Node.js project, and we're going to attempt, like I said, to connect this. So you should be able to go in and using your API and using Postman or something like it, we should be able to create new products if we want to do that. We should be able to read existing products, either one or all of them. We should be able to update an existing product, and we should be able to delete an existing product. So again, we're coming kind of full cycle with this. All right, so that's the plan for tomorrow. Then on Monday, we're going to build a whole application as a class. All right, literally, we're just going to be building an entire application from scratch as a class. As we do that, we are going to be incorporating into this application some of the stuff that we've been talking about, but we haven't really done yet, such as we're going to create a routes folder and we're going to put our routes in there. We're going to do some work with exporting of files. All right. So we're going to be doing all that stuff. We're not going to throw everything into our app.js file. All right. The other thing is what we're going to use tomorrow is a product that's called Mongo Js. Now I want to show you something. All right. And I'm going to go to npmjs.org. Hopefully you see my screen. And I'm going to type in there Mongo JS. Okay. And it says, oh, Mongo JS, easy to use module that implements the Mongo API. Oh, that sounds good. And then you look at it, there's not even 20,000 downloads. Why? Because this is the harder way of doing things. All right. And this is the equivalent of me telling you, I want you to learn how to do things both from a command line and from a GUI. Kind of like we did with C#. You did both. Why did you have to learn the command line in there? Because when we got to chapter 12 and we wrote classes, those were all just code. All right. So what does that have to do with this? Well, I want you to learn how to do things basically from a command line interface, because you may, if you get a job or do something like this, be forced to work in that kind of an environment. But rather than using Mongo JS, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in Mongoose and hit enter. And it says Mongoose Mongo Db ODM, which is an object data mapper. And when I go to there, well, you notice just about 2 million downloads. So it's pretty obvious which one is used more often. So my hope is tomorrow, during the period, we can get our entire REST API up and working using Mongo JS. All right. Then we're going to move over and start using Mongoose next week. All right. During that time, sometime during that time, we are going to transition over from using the Mongo shell, which is what we're using now, to Atlas, which is basically Mongo out in the cloud. And it's got a GUI interface. It's not the greatest GUI interface, but it's a GUI interface. All right. My goal, my hope is that by the end of next week, we'll have an entire project that we'll have written together that will incorporate both Node.js, and it will incorporate Express, and it will incorporate Mongoose along with MongoDB. All right. So we'll have all that in. And if we can get that done, then what we will do is we will take that entire project and we will move it out to the cloud, where you will literally have your own URL for it. And this will be something that you'll be able to link to and put into your portfolio. Because the goal is, all right, as we're doing this stuff, is to eventually take all the projects that you create that have any merit to them whatsoever and basically upload them to a free cloud service provider. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, maybe we'll do that. It'll only take a couple days next week. Maybe we won't get through all of it next week. I don't know. But once we get to that point, then you're going to get assigned a project that I want you to do from scratch. And that's going to be a combination homework / test. All right. And again, I'm not sure if that'll be by the end of next week or the following week. It doesn't really matter. But you'll get plenty of class time to work on that. After that, we're going to go into the last part of the MERN stack, which is React. So we'll talk about React on its own, what you have to do with React, how you use React, etc. We'll build a couple very simplistic React applications on our own. All right. Then after that, we're going to literally build our first MERN stack project as a class, where we're going to be incorporating Mongo, Express, React, and Node. All right. And my goal is, and again, we'll see if I maybe I'm being a little optimistic. I don't know. But by around somewhere in between weeks 10 and 12, all right, I don't want to talk anymore. I want us to start on a project and we're going to just work on it a little bit, maybe one day a week. But for the rest of the semester, you're going to be working on that project and making it your own. So probably we're going to create some kind of an e-commerce site, and you can sell anything in the world that you want to sell, all right, within reason. I mean, I don't want you to sell sex toys or something like that. But, if you want to, you want to sell sporting goods, if you want to sell, clothes, etc. But I want us to build that as a class. And we will use, for our back end, we will be using Node and Express. We will be taking our data and saving it in MongoDB, and we will be using React for our front end. All right. And again, be working on that incrementally, and eventually you will be uploading that to a cloud service provider, probably to 2 different providers. Typically, your React goes to one provider and your front end stuff and your back end stuff goes to another one. All right. So that's the goal. All right. So again, what I'm asking, and I'm going to send this out right now, but what I'm asking is that you go out to wherever this site right here and work through this thing. And then when you get done, all right, again, I am giving you this file that's I already showed you that has the different stuff in it. It's got the different, it's got all of the different customers in it. All right. And at the top, it just says db.customers.insert many. So whatever database that you're in, if you don't have a customers collection in there, it'll create it and it'll put all this stuff in. All right. And it'll work. And it also has some embedded stuff. So in other words, every customer has a first name and a last name. Those are 2 different fields. But then I've got I created an embedded object called locale. All right. And that has inside of it a street address, a city, a state, and a zip code. And you can see how all that stuff is formatted. Then it has a phone. All right. This again is all the stuff that we had from that MySQL file. All right. So that's what I want you to work on for the rest of the day today. We will go over this tomorrow. All right. And you can see how you did, so to speak, but you don't have to turn it in. All right. There is one last thing I want to say. I'm changing my share. I have gotten at least one email about this, so I want to address it. This is that test that's due this Sunday. All right. And I got an email this morning saying, okay, you're saying this thing is worth 100 points. And down at the bottom, you basically say the last 30 points will be judged on the quality of the site. Just exactly what are you looking for? And it said, they said, you said in class the site should be professional. What do you mean by that? Well, again, if you use Bootstrap 5 when you're setting up your embedded JavaScript pages, it already should have some built-in responsiveness to the website. All right. The site should be responsive. All right. The home page should have an image on it. The home page, the about page, etc. Those two pages should have actual meaningful text in them. The contact page should work. All right. I don't care how you implement it, but it should do something. It should be professional. You should be using not just Bootstrap, but your own CSS to make sure that every page has a common look and feel to it. The movies page should act similarly to the one that we did in class with the books, meaning it should show a listing of all of your movies, and over on the right or left, depending on how you want to set it up, you should have a delete button and you should have an edit button. They should both work. All right, somewhere near the top of that same page, you should have just one, insert new movie button. Okay, but again, with all this stuff, this should be a professional looking site. That's what I tried going over right now. So as it says, this stuff you're going to have to do anyway. All right. But if you use Bootstrap 5, as it says, not only will it help with the page creation, all right, as far as your includes and whatever, all right, but it should help make it responsive from the get-go. Again, talked about the image. You can have one, or if you decide you want to, show a bunch of movies on your homepage, that's fine. But I want one or more images on that page. Again, already mentioned this. Actual relevant text on each page. Actual working contact page. All right, people have asked me in the past, can we go out? I mean, there's places like Jot or jotforum.com. Can I use that? You know what? If you can get it to work, yes. All right. And let's see, again, the movies EJS page, as it said, should have the similar type of logic that we used for the MySQL Books project. All right, in that each movie should have its own edit and delete buttons. In addition, again, one add new movie or whatever, somewhere near the top. One button, period, not one for each record. So if you've done that, then this last 30 points, I'll be able to say, yep, I'll tick them off. Did it. And however many things there are in here, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or I guess 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each one of those is worth 5 points. So if you still don't understand what I'm talking about, all right, feel free to email me. All right. But again, I am going to take this page that you will not see for just a second. But this exercise, I am going to send it to you literally right now. You will have this, all right, in that folder. You will have that. You will have another copy of the test in case you don't have it, because a couple people say, I don't know if I even have that test. Okay. You're going to have all those URLs that I mentioned to you, and you're going to have in there this customer table that you're going to be able to literally just drop into. So you'll be able to highlight the whole file and paste it right into into your Mongo shell. I would recommend, if you do that, create a new database. All right, that's why I had you do the Acme one. All right, now that was a lot to throw at you, and I've been going for over an hour. Okay, so I will send this to you right now. I will be online until 3:55 this afternoon. If something doesn't make sense, if something doesn't work, please get a hold of me right away. All right, that's all that I had for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.